Color analysis myths. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be jumping into something that is near and dear to my heart. I have seen your comments in my videos regarding colors, the good, the bad, what's true, what's not. And so today I'm going to be breaking down for you the top color analysis myths. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because this is something that I have been doing with my clients for well over a decade. I teach color analysis, or have taught it, I should say, in colleges in past, and there is a lot of information online, as there is with anything, that is good and accurate, and that is very, very wrong and misleads people. But as I mentioned, that is true with anything online. So I wanted to talk to you today about some of the common myths that you will hear about color analysis that I believe lead people astray. And so let's jump into that today. Now, before we do, if you are someone that is interested in learning this skill, if you want to learn how to effectively analyze somebody, I would love to have you in my online color analysis training. This is where I invite other stylists to come into my world. This is a beautiful service to add on to your business, because even for me now, when I do makeovers with my clients, this is the foundational thing that I start with all of my clients, because I believe in it deeply and how much it affects someone's overall image, how much they glow, and just how much their image looks so much sharper when they're wearing colors that resonate with them. This also allows you to guide men and women best on their clothing, their accessories, their hair color, especially for women, their makeup, right? We've all been on the hunt for the perfect red that works for our skin tone. This will help you effectively guide them in the right direction. So if you're someone that just wants to do color analysis full time, or if you're a stylist and you want to add this to your repertoire, I'd love to have you. The doors are currently open and will only be open until the end of next week. I would absolutely be so honored to have you, and I will leave the link for this program down below. Now, for those of you that may not know what color analysis is, before we jump into everything, color analysis is about finding colors that harmonize and resonate with the undertone, value, and intensity of your skin. So it really makes your image look sharper. In business, it can give you a bit of an edge, and it helps guide you in future purchases when you are looking to hone in your style, that will guide you in the right direction, making sure that you're adding value consistently to your closet. That not only allows you to mix and match all of your pieces, because a palette will allow you to mix and match, it will also allow you to make sure that your money's going in the right place, and it will give you confidence with what you're purchasing. So again, finding the right makeup colors that work for you, finding the right hair colors that you know will really speak to you and make your skin glow, wearing colors that resonate with you all and actually create a smoother appearance to the skin. It creates a youthful appearance to the skin, where some colors can kind of drain the coloring from you. You literally look washed out. It actually can make an aging look and can create more shadowing in the face, in addition to creating more texture. So this is why some women, when we get ready in the morning and you feel like you're piling on more makeup than normal, it's not usually you. It's the color that you're wearing that creates the illusion of more texture and splotchiness in the skin when you're wearing something that doesn't harmonize with your undertone. And so with that, there have been a lot of bizarre information that has come out over the years when it comes to color analysis. So I'm going to talk about some of the top ones that I've heard that I would love to dispel for all of you. And so let's do this. Now, probably the most number one myth that irks me with color analysis that I hear all the time, and I'm not really sure where it stems from. I don't know where it began, but you hear a lot of color experts online talk about how your veins will dictate your undertone. And let me tell you, if you hear that in a video, a blog post, whatever, you might as well click off, go to the other page, continue on your merry way, because that's incorrect. It's just not true. I don't know where it came from. I don't know. I truly don't know. A lot of people will say, oh, if you have blue veins, you have a cool undertone. Nope, incorrect. As an example of this, I know a lot of you have said in videos like that you think that I'm a cool base for an undertone, and we're gonna get to that myth as well. But actually that's not true. My undertone's warm, I'm a true spring, and my veins are also blue. It's not true. And my analysis is not incorrect. I am a true spring. I've showed videos of this on my Instagram before when showing color analysis, but if I were a summer or cool tone, this would make me glow as a color overall. And I can't put it quite under my face because I've got my mic here and I don't want it to muffle it. But these colors, which are cool tone, will actually drain me. This is the summer palette. and I look more ghostly. There's more shadowing under my jawline. Everything just doesn't harmonize, and my hair even falls flat in terms of color. It looks more brassy. And when I switch it to my spring palette, you can see everything more about my complexion really picks up. I look like I actually harmonize with this coloring, this palette. And it's because the value, undertone, and intensity all match my coloring naturally. And of course, you guys know I have a lot of these colors in my wardrobe. I use them in a lot of my capsules because it works for me personally. And so again, that sort of dispels that the veins work with the undertone. I've seen this with so many clients that unfortunately get misanalyzed, and it's because a lot of people are relying on the vein thing, and I truly don't know where it originated from, but it is a myth. And not only that, but some people have a neutral undertone. So there's just too many variations for people. This does not work. Again, I don't know where it came from, but if you hear someone talk about it, click off, baby, because anything beyond that point that they're going to talk about is pretty much inaccurate. Now, the next color analysis myth is that blondes can be winters, or blondes look so beautiful in jewel tones. And again, this is a myth. Now, the winter palette, I gotta say, this is what I personally wanted to be so badly before I had my colors done. It is such a stunning palette, really rich jewel tones. There's an icy undertone. It has a sharp, high contrast to the whole palette. And I mean, look at it. It is just absolutely stunning. But blondes, natural blondes especially, do not have the contrast that this palette requires and would dictate for someone that has this kind of coloring. So it is a myth. Blondes cannot be winters. They actually don't often look good in jewel tones. They can look good in cool tones, but oftentimes they're a little bit more muted and less sharp in terms of the contrast that's offered in this palette. And so again, it is a myth. This is really truly what I wanted to be before I had my colors done when I did my training. And then when I found out I was a spring, it was a shock to the system, let me tell you. But blondes cannot be this. It is safe to say if you are a natural blonde, a strawberry blonde, anything in that department, it is not possible for you to be this palette. So you can kind of dispel that, remove this palette from your list. It's just not true. So again, if you're thinking of people that actually work with this palette, Cher is a beautiful example of a winter, or Lucy Liu. Fantastic examples of winters. And again, they have that high contrast, the dark jet black hair or a brown black, and they just have that really cool, crisp, clear skin that would go well with these colors. And when these women wear these beautiful tones and shades, or sorry, these hues, my apologies, they just look so good. So good. I mean, people really stand out when they're wearing their palette. So again, even someone like myself, I was a natural blonde as a baby. No, you can see that the eye goes down to the color here, and then my face, it is far too overpowering for me. And so again, blondes being a winter, it's a myth. Now, another color analysis myth that you hear all the time is that pale skin or fair skin equals a cool undertone. And this was actually something that I had unfortunately really believed in when I was younger. This is prior to my color training, obviously. And because of clearly, I'm fair. And even my mom had told me when I was younger that I had cool skin and that I should wear cooler colors to like brighten me up and jewel tones to brighten me up. And so that was what my closet was filled with, and hence the shock when I found out I was spring in my training. And anyway, it's just not true. Again, this is a myth. Any skin type could be cool, neutral, or warm. And so this is why an analysis is so important, so that someone can properly look at the value, undertone, and intensity of your skin to predict where you may fall within that. And pale skin is no exception. Fair skin is no exception. You can have someone that's incredibly fair be warm like myself. You can have someone that is fair skin that has a cool undertone. And you can have fair skin that is neutral, that sits right in the middle. So again, a myth, it's not true. Pale skin is beautiful and can have a varying range as to where it falls. Now, on that note, we hear something similar with a lot of deep undertones, that deep undertones, especially olive tones, automatically mean that you are warm. And again, that is a myth. Now, a lot of people, when they are looking at deeper skin tones, are often looking at the overtone, whereas color analysis, in order to find out what harmonizes with you, looks at the undertone of your skin in addition to the value and intensity. And oftentimes, believe it or not, olive skin tone is cool. Now, sometimes it can have the influence of warm, because again, there's varying types of skin, and what might be true for that skin tone will vary. That's why you need to be draped and analyzed properly. But more often than not, actually olive skin tone, for example, is often cool. And this is something that I know even for myself, when again, I had gone through my training, I was shocked to learn. But really, truly, a true olive skin tone often looks so gorgeous and cool skin tones. And actually, it can often be a winter, believe it or not. Olive is a really good depiction of a winter palette. But again, that's not true for everybody, because again, we're not cookie cutter versions of all different palettes. So there is a spectrum for that, and some people can be deep. Some people could potentially be warm. This is why you need to be analyzed properly, especially if you're someone that really wants to invest in your colors, which I know a lot of my clients do. They will invest heavily in the colors going forward for all of their shopping purposes. So for me, if you're really going to put all of your money for future behind that analysis that you're having, invest in having a proper analysis done. It's worth its weight in gold, and you'll know that you're setting forth on a direction that really serves you. Another myth that is very common is, does my hair color change my color palette? And the answer to this is no. Your palette won't change. And so when you change your hair color, it will just influence how you look, but it won't change your overall coloring. So as an example of this, a lot of women, when they change up their hair color, if they don't really know what they're working for and they get a hair color that does not jive with their natural coloring, sometimes this is why women can almost look like they're wearing a wig, or oftentimes it will be a matter of them feeling like they've always got to put on tanner or a lot of bronzer or more makeup because they have something draping their face that is the wrong coloring for them. And so as a result of that, it can physically wash the color from their skin. And because of that, they're adding on more makeup to sort of compensate for what they've done with their hair color. And again, it's not necessarily that, they knew it was wrong. It might just be something that they admired, but truly with their coloring, it just doesn't work. And so as a result of that, it can influence how they look in an unfortunate way. And so this is, again, the power of having a proper palette that really speaks for you, because you'll be guided in a direction where you're aiming and getting colors that harmonize for you, that look natural for your coloring, and overall enhance your look. So it's working together with everything else that you're doing with your image and just creates such a gorgeous, gorgeous image as a result. Another question that I've heard a lot with color analysis is, does my palette change? Does it change as I get older? Does it change as my hair grays? And the answer to this is most likely not. Now, there are some exceptions where it could shift, but your undertone and all that will not change. So it's not like one day you'll be a spring and all of a sudden you're a winter. That will never happen. But if you are a warm spring, let's say, in your 20s or in your youth, when you are your most saturated when it comes to your coloring, it is possible that when you mature, you could maybe shift from a warm spring to a true spring. That's just a less saturated version. But you're never going to just shift palettes out of nowhere. It just won't take place. So my being a true spring, for example, I'm not going to all of a sudden, as I get older, become a summer or a winter or an autumn or another version of a spring. It won't happen. I will remain my true spring self. So sometimes when people shift, it could be that they were a flow or a version of a palette sometimes, but usually your palette will remain true. And even with gray hair, although a lot of the time we think of a traditional like steel gray, your gray, with whatever it may look like, will have hints of either warmth to it, depending on what your palette is, or it will be very cool and icy, or really like salt and pepper-like, which is also icy. It will still show your coloring, and sometimes it can add a little bit of contrast to your look, but it will always be in harmony with your coloring, even as you gray, which is very, very cool. So for most part, no, your palette will not change. There are small exceptions to the rule, but you will not jump from different undertones. You will not vastly jump from one palette to another. That is a myth. So embrace your gray. And if you're someone that has a warm gray, let's say, for example, oftentimes I find a lot of hairstylists tend to tone it cool or something icier. But this is where I'm going to say, embrace the warmth, because again, that's part of your coloring. It adds something that really makes you glow. So try and avoid some of the toning if you are someone that has a warmer gray, because that's going to add to the beautiful, again, coloring and what makes you look like you're glowing every single day. Ooh, my voice went weird there. Every single day. And of course, if you want to learn more about the art of color analysis, because there's so much to learn, so many nuances to take into account when you are analyzing someone or when you're looking at your own coloring, I would love to have you in my online color analysis training. It is such a beautiful program. It's one of my newest. I'm really excited to teach it again, because again, I used to teach it in colleges, and it's been such a long time since I've been able to do that. And I've been analyzing people for 15 years. I still do color analysis online. And now I just want to get back into the teaching aspect of it again. So if you really want to learn this, if you want to create a little bit more income for yourself while helping women just absolutely glow, I would love to have you. Again, the link will be down below. And other than that, I'm sending you all the love to the moon and back, and I will catch you again in the next video. Bye, guys.